my name is Candace Adelkluk. I am demonstrating to you my process that I do for smoked salmon. And what do I do with all the other fun things in between making smoked salmon. So, all right. I usually use what you have available. Don't go buying things, creating things. Use what you have in your kitchen. I like to save cardboard. It's just a thing. If you're native, you know. Any cutting board to help prevent any damage. If you don't have a cutting board, just use plywood. I usually have a bowl for my scrapings and a bowl for all my trash and or chowder and or other projects. I'll usually have a sharpening stool for my ulu. 1 ulu, 2 ulus, whatever your preference and your comfort is. You can use a fillet knife. I like to use a ulu. That's my preference. Can I fillet it? Yeah, I can. Can I do it? Yeah, not my preference. So here we go. Before I start, I like to cut this piece off. I usually start right here, or you can start right here. When I cut, I'll go right here on the, I don't know if you can see that, right here on the vertebrae, and I'll line that up, and I'll break through right there. You'll hear a nice pop. I'll break the skin. I don't do too much here except for just guide my ulu down the back side to make sure that I'm above the vertebrae and the skin. When I get to the tail, I do cut it. Comes in handy. You'll see later. All right, now that you have your skin broken into and a good guide, this is where you find your vertebrae, and you run down there and you'll hear it. When you use a ulu, we don't rock it. I don't rock it. I take and I have a firm grip, pushing down with my thumb here. If you can see that. I push down here and I use my finger to push my ulu in a smooth motion. So down, and when you get to this part, the nice thing about it is just run your ulu. I push down here, right? I blick my ribs. So just blick it. And at some point when you get past that part, you don't need to do much more except for run your fingers down the ribs. And there you go. One of the other parts, I don't cut bellies off, but I'll take the fin, open it up. I hold it like this, take my blade and run it until it comes off. And I let the fish do the gravity and I pull it off. There you go. One fish lay down. Repeat, wash, rinse. I scrape each section as I go as a complete process, so it's not something that's waiting for me later and you're scraping however many fish you caught. This makes it more convenient. And we are making jewelry out of the vertebrae. The least favorite side, don't make it complicated. You take, for me, many people will come up over here on this side, your least dominant side that you're cutting your fish. I start at the tail side, and of course I break it in right there. So you start it here, and you can already see that you're ready to go. All the way down. I'm going to try this. This is a new ulu. I received, thank you to Andre's dad. Let me try this out. All right. Doesn't have to be perfect because again, you're scraping. So once I get down to that side, I do a first fish is always the fun fish because it breaks you in. You end up being rusty. And again, same technique. I might hold it different because I'm going to push on that bone, pushing my thumb down and pushing away. And again, I'm just get to that point. You can, oof, you might need to. Fish got a little frozen from the ice. There you go. Nice fish. And again, technique. You can take this here. I cut just enough so I can hold it. I put my blade down, cut it off. Yay, fish chowder. Got one other fillet down and scrape. This is what's nice when you're practicing. Don't worry about making mistakes. Mistakes aren't mistakes, but opportunities in disguise. And repurposing, because I think we feel guilty about wasting. There's no waste. So think about what you enjoy. You can make just simple, out of your scrapings, fish patties. You can just do salt and pepper, your preference. Everybody has a different taste, flavor, palette. I like to experiment. All right, there's that fish. And sharpen. I know I said I can do this with a fillet knife, and people can prove it, but I don't need to prove anything. That's slimy. I really like the sharpness of this one. Ooh, that's so sharp it went to the other side. All right, I'm gonna go with my not so as sharp. One of my favorite sayings that sticks to me to this day is, you only keep what you practice. And that's Mr. Tunguanuk. Practice, practice, practice. So what I also say to my youth, people in my family, you're better off failing at trying than not trying and failing. So just do it. Do it till it becomes normal and it becomes your happy place. You'll get frustrated, you'll get irritated, you might feel all the emotions and feelings while you're processing. Just work your way through it, and in the end, eat you some dry fish that you made from your sweat, hard work, and learning. But never give up. We've got more at our fingertips as far as means of sustaining this process. Just thinking about my ancestors, and they didn't have refrigerators. They didn't have fancy, well, cardboard they did, but you know, all the extra places to process, and their elements was outside with all the fish. I did cut right here. This is too slimy. Find your way. My way may not be your way. Find your style. And if you're practicing and you're a bearer of knowledge, encourage, don't discourage people, our youth, to practice what they know. And if they don't know, don't shame them. Encourage them. Praise them. Be a reason why they want to practice. So, I don't mind. Growing up in Nome, I was given the opportunity to set net. When I learned how to cut fish, there was no talking. And it's not because it wasn't because you can't talk. And it was my first time at the net. It was about safety. And I had to earn privileges to be around all the moving parts that can harm or hurt you. And so my first experience at fish camp when they were doing set net was right next to my aunties at the cutting table, next to my mom, and given an ulu and sat there and watched as they cut fish. And I wanted to ask questions, and it was like, don't ask questions, watch. It's like, okay, I watched. And then when I went to cut my first fish, I was not shamed. I wasn't put down because my fish was gutted. They knew that was going to be the introduction to me learning a skill, and that they had enough patience and discipline while I was learning until I got comfortable with the ulu, because it is getting comfortable with the ulu. So after, if you've been to set net, you're looking at hundreds of fish and plenty of opportunity to practice cutting fish. Clean that later. So when I would make what I call a mistake, was always, I said that earlier, is an opportunity in disguise. My aunts knew that if I was going to make mistakes, that my mistakes weren't mistakes, it was dinner. It was fish head soup. I didn't know that. I just was encouraged to learn and practice with the ulu. So keep in mind, we had a huge family. We're talking, I don't know, about 20 of us out there at fish camp. So my fish processing and learning was dinner, and they knew they needed enough fish to feed everybody for fish head soup. We were cutting dry fish. So that stuck with me. When I was learning, was it tough? It was tough. Tough not talking or asking questions, but a big valuable lesson is that you can learn a lot just by watching and being a person of encouragement as our youth learn. Also, there were gender roles. I'm not saying that women weren't at the net, but this net was more about strength, and not that women didn't provide strength. When you're under a short window of opportunity to catch fish, it's endurance and long days. So we would be up on the beach waiting for the fish, and we would process it, and we'd have dumpster or the remnants of the guts and stuff that we weren't reusing or going to use. The younger men that were between the net, they would go to the rowboat, grab it, and they would drop it off on a little island to feed the seagulls. And that was a little bit further away from where we would camp. And then the whirl work began. Fishing and capturing the fish, or catching the fish, is enough work, but If you're eating dry fish from somebody, that process to keep maggots, smoking it, drying it, if you're fighting the rain, it's a lot of work. So if you're given some dry fish from up north or from somebody else who took the time out of their summer to put it away for their family, be grateful. Because if you have not been to fish camp, I don't think you have an understanding of how much work it takes to put away fish. Because it doesn't stop after the gill net or the set net's done. So we would live out at fish camp, or out at camp, which was outside of Cape Nome. And the real work was daily maintenance. If it was wet out, we would put fire. If it was the first couple of days, we would have a little fire to smoke out the Mukluks, is what we call them, the blue flies. So when I'm processing, I really think of all the things that I learned. I do my best to share what knowledge that I've managed to interpret in my upbringing, and encourage our youth, even young adults, doesn't matter age, to maintain. Mom dries these too. I don't know if she told you she used to make brooms out of them. They dried the big tails, yeah. They would take them. And one time, my first time I'd seen a fish tail, she had it like this. Mom, what is that? She goes, it's my broom, babe. She'd use it to sweep out at camp. I was like, oh, okay. I need to make more mistakes because I don't have enough dry salmon to make salmon jerky. People clean this. You can. You don't need to. If you are wanting to learn any of these processes, all you got to do is show up. Show up to dip netting, flipping, wherever you're at in Anchorage, and you hear fish are here or fish are there. All you got to do is show up. That's it. I say that's it, but when I say show up, you'd be amazed at how many people, how many anglers are willing to help you and teach you what they know. So if you don't have the means to do it, which I mean, you don't have a fishing rod, you don't have a fly rod or a dip net, still just show up. Help somebody out, because your kindness may turn into another hidden opportunity. And next thing you know, you're fishing with somebody else's net because they're helping you. So whatever reason you have, man, if it's just getting down here, I could talk about one of my nieces who comes down here religiously. She doesn't have a vehicle, she doesn't have a net, but she has the drive to be down here, and she gets down here. There's people driving down here. You never know. It will happen. If you believe in it, it can happen. So been living down on the Kenai Peninsula for 9 years, going on our 10th year. I go back home occasionally, not as often as I can, but I cherish the moments that I do. It's got a lot of history there. So this practice that I have has been something I've learned how to adapt in the area that I am in, because this area does not match Cape Nome. But the end and the desire and how to do it, mostly I'm just working through the weather, how to have a better yield. So I've invested in some fans. I use the fans to dry my fish. If you're a person with knowledge and you do it different, great. keep practicing, keep sharing. If there's anything that I have learned in my time with my mom and my aunts, the biggest thing, that was the most important thing, was to share. So share. Share your knowledge, share your food, and family. So family with your family. And it doesn't even have to be family, blood family. Who's your family? So if not now, then when? And if not you, then who? What better way to end this fish with not being so rusty? I say to all of you that are watching, thank you. Be an inspiration, motivation, and an encouragement to all on cultural preservation. In any part of the culture preservation. It could be just processing, it could be connecting. What does culture mean to you? I find that at the beginning of the season, my ulu is dull. By the end of the season, it's really sharp because it's being used frequently. I do the tail first. This one's got a lot of extra meat on it. Alright, that's the fillet. The last one. Thank you, fish.
Beautiful.
And thank you to all my aunties and all my teachers for teaching me what I know. It doesn't go unappreciated by any means, because I enjoy it. So, thank you. Go fishing.